Here's the moment Blake Lively crossed a line she can never uncross when she decided to weaponize the legal system against journalists and content creators for the crime of reporting unfavorably about her case. What started as sexual harassment allegations against Justin Baldoni has morphed into something far more dangerous. A coordinated attack on press freedom that should terrify anyone who believes in the First Amendment. And the media personalities she targeted? They're fighting back harder than she ever anticipated. The subpoena strategy seemed brilliant on paper. Blake Lively's legal team identified the biggest voices criticizing her online. Perez Hilton, the veteran gossip blogger who's been covering Hollywood scandals since before social media existed. Candace Owens, the conservative commentator with millions of followers across platforms. Andy Signor, the YouTuber who's built a career analyzing celebrity controversies. If Lively could prove these influencers were coordinated mouthpieces for Justin Baldoni's alleged smear campaign, she'd have smoking gun evidence of the conspiracy she claims destroyed her reputation. But there's a fundamental flaw in this strategy that reveals either breathtaking legal incompetence or something more sinister, an attempt to silence critics through intimidation. These aren't anonymous trolls hiding behind fake accounts. These are established media personalities with their own platforms, audiences, and reputations to protect. When you subpoena journalists for doing journalism, you're not seeking justice. You're trying to weaponize the legal system to suppress unfavorable coverage. Perez Hilton, the pink-haired provocateur who's survived every Hollywood scandal imaginable, wasn't about to roll over for Blake Lively's legal intimidation. When he received his subpoena, demanding all communications with Baldoni and his team, Hilton did something that should have been predictable. He fought back hard. In a move that shows he understood the stakes better than Lively's lawyers apparently did, Hilton immediately filed to quash the subpoena in his home district of Nevada, arguing that the New York court had no jurisdiction over him. The courtroom showdown that followed became a masterclass in how not to intimidate the media. Hilton showed up wearing a metallic floral blazer, turning the legal proceeding into his own personal runway show. But beneath the theatrics was a serious constitutional argument. He was being targeted for reporting on publicly available court documents and expressing his opinions on a high-profile case. If that's grounds for a subpoena, then every journalist in America should be terrified. The judge's ruling was devastating for Lively's team. Hilton successfully moved to quash the subpoena in his home district of Nevada, with the filing showing he repeatedly stressed that any challenge to the subpoena had to be litigated where he resides, not in New York federal court. The motion was denied without prejudice, which leaves the possibility for Blake Lively to seek to compel the subpoena again, though the specificity and thorough nature of Judge Lyman's order would indicate a high bar against any future attempts. Translation: Lively got schooled, and any future attempts to silence Hilton will face an uphill battle. Hilton's victory wasn't just personal. It was a win for press freedom that should have sent shockwaves through Hollywood. Here was a celebrity blogger, someone many in the mainstream media looked down upon, successfully defending First Amendment principles against one of Hollywood's most powerful actresses. The message was clear. You don't get to subpoena journalists just because they hurt your feelings. But the most revealing aspect of this entire subpoena war is what it exposes about Lively's real strategy. Her legal strategy appears focused on proving that online creators were used as unofficial mouthpieces to amplify targeted negative content. Think about what she's actually claiming here. That independent creators can't possibly have formed their own negative opinions about her case based on publicly available information. The only way they could criticize her, according to this logic, is if they were secretly coordinated with Baldoni's team. This is where Lively's narrative falls apart completely. Candace Owens, the conservative commentator known for her contrarian takes on Hollywood, publicly denied even receiving a subpoena. Candace Owens says she hasn't received a subpoena from Blake Lively's legal team and denies any involvement in the lawsuit. If you're running a coordinated smear campaign, wouldn't you make sure your alleged co-conspirators actually know they're supposed to be conspirators? Andy Signora, the YouTuber who's made a career analyzing celebrity controversies, also pushed back against the subpoena narrative. These creators built their audiences by offering commentary and analysis on public figures and current events. When a high-profile sexual harassment case becomes public, of course they're going to cover it. When court documents reveal dramatic allegations and counter-allegations, of course they're going to discuss them. That's not coordination, that's journalism. The dangerous precedent Lively was trying to set cannot be overstated. Perez Hilton warns about a dangerous precedent for reporting if a judge grants Blake Lively subpoena. If celebrities can subpoena journalists and content creators for unfavorable coverage based solely on their reporting and commentary, then press freedom in America is dead. Every entertainment reporter, every gossip blogger, every YouTuber who covers celebrity news would be vulnerable to legal harassment from wealthy celebrities who don't like their coverage. The irony is delicious. Lively's attempt to prove a conspiracy against her may have created the very thing she was trying to combat. By targeting independent media personalities with legal intimidation, she united them against her cause. Hilton, who might have moved on to other celebrity gossip, became a champion of press freedom. Content creators who might have forgotten about the Baldoni case started paying closer attention to Lively's legal tactics. But the most revealing aspect of this entire subpoena war is what it suggests about Lively's real relationship with the truth. Blake Lively faces backlash after launching a legal attack on pro-Baldoni YouTubers accused of using subpoenas to intimidate critics by demanding personal information. When you're demanding private data from content creators, when you're trying to silence independent voices through legal intimidation, you're not seeking justice. You're trying to control the narrative. The media personalities fighting back aren't just defending themselves, they're defending a principle that's fundamental to democracy: the right to report on public figures, to analyze their actions, to criticize their behavior, and to form independent opinions based on available evidence. When celebrities try to suppress that right through legal warfare, they're attacking the foundation of free speech itself. Perez Hilton warns about a dangerous precedent for reporting if a judge grants Blake Lively's subpoena. But here's the thing about taking an L in court when you're fighting for press freedom. Sometimes losing a battle helps you win the war for public opinion. Hilton's willingness to fight back, to show up in court wearing that ridiculous blazer, to make himself the story rather than backing down, turned him from a gossip blogger into an unlikely defender of constitutional rights. The real question isn't whether these media personalities were coordinated with Baldoni's team. The real question is why Blake Lively thought she could intimidate them into silence, and what it reveals about how Hollywood's elite view press freedom when it becomes inconvenient for their carefully crafted narratives. As this legal war continues, remember this moment when a gossip blogger in a metallic blazer stood up for the First Amendment against one of Hollywood's biggest stars. Because that's the moment we learned who really believes in free speech and who only supports it when it serves their interests. The media personalities aren't backing down, the subpoenas are failing, and Blake Lively's war on press freedom is backfiring in ways that should terrify every celebrity who thinks they can silence criticism through legal intimidation.